Hi, I'm Rakhee and welcome to Right Moves. Right Moves invites you to more fully inhabit your body. We can do this in many ways. In this session that we're opening to everybody, thanks to support from the Mayor of London's Culture Seeds, we're doing this by exploring what is found within and how our bodies reflect the world around us.
So this session is offering a taste of the entire course. And for this reason, we will follow a similar structure to our previous 5 sessions. We'll begin with yoga and qigong, and we will move into more creative territory with scores that combine somatic movement, visualization, and writing. Enjoy.
So come to a seated position on your mat, and then when you are comfortable, make your way onto your back with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. And in this position, take 3 breaths to fully arrive here. And as you breathe in and exhale, allow yourself to let go of any thoughts, the day, whatever has happened before this moment. And as you continue to breathe here, feel the weight of your body against the floor and fully let yourself arrive here. Now begin to tune in to your breath and notice how the breath is moving in your body. You might continue to feel a sense of weight and sense the movement of your breath. Where in your body do you feel your breath most readily? And allow this process to be one where you can release what you don't need on your exhale. And as you inhale, use that as a moment of fresh, renewed inspiration. Use the exhales to release what's difficult, tense, holding you back, and the inhale as a way of renewing and transforming your experience. Take 2 more breaths here, inspiring and releasing, and inspiring and releasing. And when you're ready, float your knees up and hold around your knees to take 2 to 3 circles of your leg bones within your hips. So you can circle them both in one direction and then the other, or you can move your leg bones out and in towards each other. And then come the opposite way to what you've been doing. And then after your next circle, allow both feet to arrive onto the floor and float your right knee in towards your armpit, and then straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling as though you were stamping on the ceiling, and come to hold behind your right leg. And take a couple of breaths here. And if you feel any tension or stretching in your hamstring, use your breath as a way to release any tension. And then allow your leg to be held by your right hand. Place your left hand on your hip point and slowly inch the right leg towards the floor. If you feel that your left hip is coming off the floor, pause there and take a couple of breaths. And then exhale your leg back up towards the ceiling and swap hands. And slowly allow your right leg to move towards the left-hand side diagonally, so almost behind you. Won't go very far, but take a couple of breaths there and allow it to return and float your foot back onto the mat and come to the other side. So holding for a few breaths behind the hamstring, really feeling into any sense of stretch, but allowing your breath to soften and release it. So yoga is a practice of transforming what we no longer need and renewing it with a new sense of true understanding of what really is. And on your next breath, transfer your leg into your left hand and allow your left leg to come towards the floor. And then take a couple of breaths as you get to the position of almost an edge where your right hip is about to peel off. Allow yourself to wait there. Take a couple of breaths, and on an exhale, return the leg back to center. Swap hands and move the left leg across to the right and backwards a little, and then exhale it back and float the leg back down onto the floor. And from here, float both legs up for a moment and come to hold on the outside of your feet for happy baby, or if you can't get there, you can hold back behind the thighs or on the shins and rock from side to side. And then from here, bring both legs together and wrap your right leg around your left and lower your left foot down. So you're in an eagle position with your legs, and stretch your arms out to a T shape and drop your twisted legs to the left, and take a couple of breaths in this position, and then exhale to float your eagle legs back up, untwist and twist around the other way. So this time the left leg is on top, your arms are out, you can tap your right toes back to the floor and then gently release your knees back down to the floor, and take a couple of breaths in this twisty position. And exhale back to center and untwist. Allow both feet to land onto the floor for a moment. And from here, in whatever way seems most comfortable, come back to a seated position. And you can either cross your legs if that's more comfortable, or come up to kneeling. And once again, you're in a new position. Take a couple of breaths to arrive and feel how the exhale allows you to release your weight more fully into the earth. And on an inhale, you fill up with fresh inspiration. So through every breath, you are transforming your body. And from here, float your arms up directly in front of you. So you probably floated them up with your palms facing each other, and turn them round so it's the back of your arms facing each other as you nod your head forward. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows into a cactus shape. And we're not coming into a big back bend, just an opening. So inhale forward, ears right alongside the arms, and exhale back. And this is called opening and closing the gates, and is something from qigong. So I'm mixing and blending a little yoga and qigong together through this entire session. Another couple like this, so inhaling forward and exhaling back. And inhaling forward and exhaling back. And from here, stretch your arms out, fingers pointing wide. Inhale, and as you exhale, give yourself a big hug, right arm on top, and repeat like this a couple of times in each direction. And once more. And then release your arms down and come onto all fours. So in your all fours position, inhale your heart forward. As you exhale, round in your back. And inhale forward and exhale to round. And inhale and exhale. And come to a neutral spine and draw your right foot between your hands and come into a releasing lunge. So lower your hips towards the floor. And from here, rise up, bring your arms straight ahead of you and cross your left arm at the elbow over the right and twist it round into an eagle arm. And you can lift your hands up, elbows up, and release down, unwind. Place your hands around your feet, come back onto all fours, and roll down over your thighs onto your belly. Take a breath in to prepare and exhale into a cobra. Inhale here, exhale to release and press back up onto all fours. Bring your left foot between your hands, raise your arms out ahead of you, and this time it's right arm crosses over left, raise the elbows up for a breath, and release, bring your hands around your feet, back onto all fours, roll down over your thighs onto your belly, press into your hands, and as you exhale, come up into a cobra. Inhale here, fill up, exhale to release. Tuck your toes under and come into a downward facing dog. And take 3 breaths in your downward dog. And after your third exhale, walk your feet up to your hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold, and inhale to sweep your arms all the way up and exhale through the midline. So I'm just coming to face you, but stay facing the way you are. And here we'll come through practice from qigong, which is gathering and filling and gathering and clearing. So we're going to gather up whatever we don't need and raise that up. And as you exhale, imagine you're clearing what it no longer serves you from the form of the body. And you're pushing this out into the earth, and the earth is very able to support this and compost it and turn it into fresh new energy. And this time, as you inhale and float your arms up, imagine you are gathering up fresh, vibrant new energy. And as you exhale, imagine you're filling up with fresh inspiration, new energy. You're renewing yourself and filling with what you need. And the last time, inhale, imagine you're gathering up what you have just filled, and you are sealing in this fresh new energy, vitality. So you might have a sense of what you need from your practice today, And for a couple of breaths, bring your one hand to your heart and one to your belly. And set your intention into your body as we prepare to flow more fully. And the practice of flow for me really encapsulates a little bit of the sense of transformation that yoga can bring. It can sometimes feel heated, and I think it is within this heat that it provides a crucible for transformation. So we're going to move into a flow, and as you inhale, float your arms up. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, head and heart to the horizon. Exhale, fold. Right foot lunges back, knee off the floor. And on an inhale, float your arms up. We're in a high lunge. Take a breath in, exhale, hands around the front foot. Come into a plank position. And from our plank, we're going to gently lower knees to the mat. And you can either roll back over the side or hug your elbows close in and come through half the chaturanga into a cobra. And on an exhale, come back into a downward facing dog. And take 3 breaths in your downward dog. On an inhale, float your right leg up to the ceiling and exhale, right foot between your hands. And I'm just going to move around on the mat so you get a clearer view. And from here, you're going to come back into a high lunge and cross your left arm over your right into an eagle. Lift your elbows up for a breath and exhale to release and come into a warrior 2. So right knee bent, arms one straight ahead, one behind you. Take a breath in and exhale, lower your left hand to your left thigh, raise your right arm forward. Breath in, exhale, warrior 2, and come into eagle arms in warrior 2. So once again, it's the left arm crossing over the right. Lift your elbows up and bend forward into a humble warrior. Breath in and exhale to release. Come back into a warrior 2 and spin on the ball of your back foot into a high lunge. Exhale, hands around the front foot, back foot to front. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, float your arms up. And exhale through the midline. Continuing straight on. Inhale, hands float up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold, lunge your left foot back and come into a high lunge. So raise your arms up for a breath. Exhale, hands around your front foot. Come into a plank, and from here, knees to the mat, elbows hugging through half the chaturanga into a cobra. And tuck your toes under, exhale, downward dog. And one breath in downward dog, and inhale, float your left leg up and exhale it between your hands. And from here, inhale up into a high lunge. And this time it's the right hand crosses over the left, eagle arms. One breath here, exhale to release and open out into a warrior 2. So I'm just going to come out this way. So you can see what I'm doing. Breath in, float your right hand down to the back of your right thigh, left arm up, and back into a warrior two. And eagle arm, so right arm over left, lift the elbow up, and exhale into a humble warrior. Inhale up and release. Spin on the ball of your back foot to come into a high lunge. Exhale, hands around your front foot, back foot to front. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, come all the way up. And exhale through the midline. And I'm going to face you, although you can continue to face the same way. We're going to come into a full eagle. So get really solid on both your feet and feel your heels and the balls of your feet digging in, so you're really conscious of your arches lifting up. Transfer your weight onto your left foot and twist your right leg round. So this is what we did on our backs, and I find it really difficult to get my leg twisted round, so I generally just prop it down, but you may be able to twist it right round. Arms forward, left arm over right, into eagle, lift the elbows up, and fold forward. Take a breath here, and on an exhale, release. And take a breath, firm on your 2 feet, and transfer your weight now onto your right foot and float your left leg up and twist it round. Arms ahead of you, right arm over left. Come to an eagle, lift your elbows up. And if this is impossible, you can give yourself a hug again. And exhale, forward, inhale, come up, and release. And our last standing practice is from qigong. So I invite you to step your left foot forward, and you're in this sort of diagonal stance. You can bend in your back knee and your front knee. And this is, in fact, very much the motion we will be taking. So as you inhale, imagine you're gathering up everything you don't need. And as you exhale, you're throwing it into the fire. So you're inhaling to gather up what no longer serves you, what you don't find valuable, and you're exhaling it into the fire. And one last time. Inhale and exhale. And pause here, because from the flames arises a phoenix. So there's a real story of a sense of renewal in this move. So from the flames, imagine you're able to grow and cultivate what serves you well. And one last time, the phoenix, allow the phoenix to arise from the flames, and draw your left foot back, and we'll do that to the other side. So right foot at a diagonal. So you're inhaling and exhaling what you don't need into the flames. So you're gathering up what no longer serves you, and you're letting it go. And there's this beautiful sense of release and renewal, as from the flames, what can arise once you've made space for it is just what you need. So imagine growing out of the flames, literally the phoenix. This is called the phoenix, but also a sense of renewing your own sense of wholeness. And exhale your front foot in. And from here, we're going to directly, slowly make our way onto our back for our final couple of poses. So as you arrive on your back, as we did in the beginning, let yourself fully arrive. We've moved a little bit, challenged ourselves. Eagle is a challenging pose, so you may have felt challenged. But feel the parts of your body that are now resting against the floor and allow them to fully arrive back. And take a couple of breaths to land here. You might want to heel toe your feet out a little bit wider, so they're wider than hip distance. And as you breathe in, come onto the edge of your right foot, the little toe edge, and the inner edge of your left foot, so the big toe, and allow your knees to drop over to the right into a windscreen wiper twist. Take a couple of breaths there, and on, and exhale, come back into the middle, and then allow your knees to go over to the other side, taking a couple of breaths there, and coming back to the middle. And then I'm just going to take a couple of breaths here to finish before we move into a writing exercise. So you can bring your hands to your belly, you can allow your knees to fall in towards each other, and take 3 settling breaths. And for these breaths, allow everything to release into the earth. Allow your body to melt back. And you can stay here longer if you want. I'm going to come up and explain the next exercise, but you've really got as much time as you need for this. So you can stay on your back, allowing yourself to settle. And then when you're ready, you can grab your paper and pencil, or whatever you have to write with, and just write for a few minutes. You can take 5 to 10 minutes. First of all, write about what it is you feel you need to release, or that you may have had difficulty letting go of, and you can just let the words pour out. And then perhaps from this, a bit phoenix-like, you will be able to write what it is that you want to replace, what it is you're letting go of. So you may really be able to write about what you are making space for, what you are cultivating or inviting into your life. So you can pause the film now, the recording, and take as long as you need. We suggest maybe between 5 and 10 minutes, but you can take longer than that. And then when you return, Vanio is going to lead you through a beautiful somatic practice that will continue to build on what we've been doing.
Wonderful yoga and qigong combination. We're going to continue from the world that Rakhee created into more elements of shape shifting and transforming, letting go what is not necessary, and then embracing the new, embracing the alchemical, embracing the unexpected. So what I will be leading are long activities that in the movement and dance world are called scores, and it may be quite nice to accompany them with your own music if you want. So find a comfortable position on the floor, lie on your back, perhaps resting on your back and then raising your knees, feet planted on the floor, so constructive rest position. And allow your imagination and anything from the world of dreams to maybe pop in if it wants to. We're going to move into a cycle of self-nourishment, into growth, composting, to the to rebirth, transformation, and return back to our current shape. So as you lie down, tune to your breath and the rhythm of your breath right now, the texture of your breath, the quality of your breath, and the volume of your breath. Does it take enough space? Are there any moments in your breathing cycle where you feel a restriction? And now feel the oxygen, feel the air coming into your body through your nose and your mouth, passing through the trachea in your neck and filling in your lungs. It may be useful to place your hands around your ribs to feel the opening and closing of the ribs as you inhale and exhale. Feeling the lungs moving as you breathe in and out. And as you breathe in, the diaphragm, this parachute, mushroom-like muscle moves down, it descends to give space to the lungs to expand for the inrush of air. And this process is called inspiration. What a lovely word. As you exhale, the diaphragm releases. The lungs are compressed to expel carbon dioxide, which is waste for us, but is absolutely necessary for plants. And this process is called expiration. So now we're going to move into the pulsing of our heart. So just a little bit of information as we breathe in and out. The blood is pumped by the heart through the body, carried by the arteries. Each cell absorbs oxygen and removes waste material. And this process, where all the cells participate in the breathing cycle, is called cellular respiration or cellular breathing. Then in the next step, the oxygenated blood returns via the veins to the heart. I'm sure you've all learned that in school. It's just a reminder for this process and the cyclical element of it. And now we're going to focus on the space of our heart. So I would place one or two hands on top of your heart. And as the heart pumps blood, we will imagine that the blood now moves down to the belly, to the hips and the knees, the ankles and the feet. So the lower part of our body is filled with oxygen, new and fresh, nourishing blood. And now allow the blood to return from the feet back to your heart through the veins like a wave. Inhale and exhale to feel this wave. Now for a next step, we're going to imagine that the blood is pumped from the heart to the top of our body, the neck, the skull, and the brain inside the skull. The head, the neck, the head, the front, side and back of the skull, and the brain inside the skull. And now imagine that the blood returns back to the heart as you inhale and exhale, or inspire and expire. And now from the heart, imagine that the blood really reaches these poor, tormented shoulders, the Zoom session, tormented shoulders and the elbows and the typing hands. So feel that they're filled with oxygenated blood, bathing the palms and the fingers to then return to the center. And as a last step of this pumping blood and oxygen and fresh air and fresh life into our bodies, you can move from the center out into the periphery as you wish, following the rhythm of that pumping flow, back and forth like the ebb and flow of the tides. Inspiration and expiration. At this stage, you may wish to pause the video to take up more time for yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to move to the second score that really stems from this sense of flowing of blood and flowing of air inside our bodies. So we're going to move into another cycle where human breath connects with the cycle of photosynthesis in plants. So in this cycle, as you may know, plants release oxygen through photosynthesis. We inhale oxygen, we humans inhale oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide, which is then absorbed by the plants. And of course, carbon dioxide exists through other sources, but it's really beautiful to think of this interdependence. Human waste nourishes all plants, and plants' waste becomes the energy, the fuel for human life. And so to explore this interdependence, we're going to make a leap and imagine that we let go of the current form of our body as it is right now. So imagine you give your weight and shape fully to the earth that supports you. It can never be too heavy for her. Really inhale, instantly release your weight down to the earth. And let's now imagine that the underside of our body grows roots. Roots that absorb water and minerals. And these roots grow into all directions underneath our current body. And this movement of growing can be slow. It can have bursts in your imagination. It can have its own rhythm, in other words. And as the roots grow, they are connected with tiny threads, branching filaments that make up the lower part of fungi. And these tiny filaments are called hyphae. In Greek, hyphae, iphi, means thread, textile thread. It means also texture. So these hyphae are interconnected with tree roots, and they form a network that is interdependent. They provide nutrients, they turn the wood, they help the wood decompose, and they're also nourished by the trees. So really drop into this underground, busy and chatty network, hyphae and roots as they grow out of the underside of your body. And these hyphae, they grow for miles, and really, they're really tiny. They can't be seen always by the naked eye, in minute spirals contained within only a few teaspoons of soil. Miles contained in a teaspoon of soil. As I've read in Velleben's book, The Hidden Life of Trees. Fascinating read. Now, through this growth, focus on the spine and imagine that the spine is regrowing and being reborn as a tender stem. And through the spine, now your limbs regrow out like branches. Let the trunk, let your trunk, your torso really stay heavy on the floor. And now at your own time, imagine that your limbs are growing out of your spine, one at a time. Maybe one arm comes first, then a second arm. Keep the head quite heavy to begin with. And let them slowly regrow in all sorts of unpredictable directions. Take your time and Feel how these branches grow and whether they find any resistance in their growth. Maybe the legs now participate, as we can beautifully see in Rakhee, slowly merging. As you feel the roots growing underneath you, there is a continuous movement up and imagining of growing down. And then slowly you can attempt to lift also your head, imagining that the head becomes a limb as well. It is a limb. So let it grow as a limb out of the floor. Beautiful. Limbs grow from inside out. And the earth is the womb that gives birth to you. Maybe you can imagine tendrils growing out of your fingers, leaves and tender branches underneath the arms, the armpit. The direction of the growing can be like a spiral or more vertical. You can allow turns and multi-directional movement to occur. And slowly, you may even imagine that your limbs extend beyond your physical body. There are extensions and branches, thick branches or thin and thread-like as hyphae that grow in any direction your body dictates. Take time for this growth. And you may want to pause again the video here and to continue in this exploration. I'm going to start moving to a third activity that is inspired by composting. And I'm really fascinated by the process of composting. I love watching my compost as well. And I live in a flat and it's in a bin, but still I love opening the bin and just seeing the different colors, the different smells, the different temperatures. So composting usually takes place in 3 stages, and these have to do with also change of temperature. So the first is a rising temperature, then the second step is a really high temperature where either other microorganisms take over and do all their chemical reactions, and then in the third stage, which I think can take a bit longer, from hours to a few months, I think, then the temperature cools down. So as you grow, and you have grown, and maybe you take more time to grow, imagine now in your own way that you return back to the earth. And this return can be like a drop, can be like a very gradual melting, can be like fragmented. So imagine any rhythm and quality of dropping and desire for dropping and giving in again into the earth womb, the land that receives you again. And if you don't feel warm already, you may play a little bit with some exercises for warming your body up to feel the sense of rising temperature that takes place in composting. So you can do some shaking on the floor, on all fours, or standing wherever you are right now. And you can let the shaking take over your body, allowing your body to be like jelly-like, jellyfish-like, moving and rippling, letting the shake ripple to bring heat. And you can, if you are on the floor, you can shake from side to side or move your heels up and down so that the shake can reverberate to the rest of the body through the connective tissues. So for the shake to feel more fulfilling, you may need to relax excess tension in the muscles and let the rebound in the body take over. The elasticity of the fascia and the connective tissues in the body to take over. That can take some time. Or you can do anything else you want to bring some heat in the body, like brushing. You can brush your skin surface. That can feel quite nice. If the weather is not as warm as today. Okay. Brushing skin surfaces or shaking to bring some heat in the body. Imagining that you are letting go into a process of composting to transform to something new. Mm-hmm. You are transforming into organic matter, which is called humus, as I read, an organic component of soil, so the nutrient-rich soil that comes out of the process of composting for the new life to emerge. And as you continue in this warming up or rewarming process, I'm going to read you a quote from Donna Haraway from her book Staying with the Trouble that has inspired me quite a lot for most of the sessions for Right Moves and for other work. So she writes, "We require each other in unexpected collaborations and combinations, in hot compost piles. We become with each other or not at all." She writes, and end quote, she writes and she explains that if we stay in our singular, in our separate kinds and species, then often hope or despair can come. And then she writes, and I quote, "Neither hope nor despair knows how to teach us to play string figures with companion species," end quote. So let's play with this sense of string figures emerging from this compost process. And we're going to now enter the last phase of this shape shifting. And we're going to enter a process of welcoming different animals in our body. So we will become this hybrid human-animal body. And we will emerge coexisting with traces of other species, real, imaginary, fictional, all residing in one body. So maybe you can rest where you are for now. And I will guide you through some imagery again. I'm quite inspired by creatures, mythical figures, mythical creatures that have the head of a woman. Then they are winged, they have, they look like birds, so their arms are like wings. And then the rest of the body and the legs, they come from a different animal, like a lion or a horse or other animal. So as I guided, you may have different associations. I'm going to give you some options for that. And as I'm giving you options, I would like to imagine how fluid or thick your flesh is becoming in this transformation. Whether embodying is easy or it takes effort to move into this new animal. Is it sudden or slow? Is the shape shifting continuous, or does it arrive to a form that you can vividly imagine? So imagine growing a head of a woman that is different to yours. And just think of the inner desire of this emerging creature and how it would express itself in its face, in your face. So would the expression that emerges be calm and benevolent, like in fairies, flying fairies? Or would it be like the Persian tender-hearted mythical bird, Simurgh? Like the Sumerian nurturing and protective goddess Lama? The chthonic and vengeful fairies, the Greek fairies, Erinias, furies. Could it be fierce and monstrous like the Greek and Roman harpies, ferocious like the Greek sphinx, or anything, or a hybrid of these expressions? What about your hair? Do they become like tendrils or tentacles, snakes, or branch-like antlers? Are they thick? Do they move? Do they pierce? So let the head grow out of the earth. Let the expression on your face grow out of the earth. What about your eyes? Can we see through them? Do they become mirrors, or do they become windows where we can see inside your body? Is your body translucent or opaque? What can we see and what can you see? What is the habitat that you are inhabiting? And now your arms, the winged arms, how do they move? How do they grow? Are they there to envelop? Are they there to move in the air and cut through the air? And maybe slowly you can start moving out of the floor and you can start growing away from gravity, resisting, negating gravity slowly. How much resistance there is in this growth. I would take some more time, but for the purpose of recording, I'm going to push on now. So if you want, you can pause the video here. So slowly we're moving into the torso. How do you breathe? How, where is your belly and how does it breathe in and out? What is at the back? What is the texture of your body? Is there a lot of hair around? And are you on the earth or maybe already in the air? What about your legs? Are they the legs of a bull, of a lion, of a horse, of a leopard, or any other hybrid? What can these legs do? How do they move? Can they move fast? Do they just stand proud, fierce? Do they hit the floor? Do they kick? And is there a tail from the back of your spine? Is there a tail that reaches all the way down and weighs you down? Or are you more like a flying bird with the face of a woman? Do you have a name? And is it the same as yours? Or is it a new name? Now start to move your entire body until you fully become one with this hybrid. human animal. Dance your human animal using your entire body. Let it really ripple and really take over your body. Allow stillnesses and then gradually moving by intensifying this dance to the full intensity and then scale it down. Play at your own rhythm. Again, up the scale and down the scale from 0% that we could call stillness, you move up to 10, to 20, to 50, to 85. Then what would be the 100 of the dance of your animal? Human animal, mythical human animal. Hope you can hear the bird. There's a bird outside squeaking. And you can take as much time as you need for this dance. You can play favorite music for that. And then slowly we're going to return. You're going to allow this dance to arrive into a stillness where you feel your body returning to its initial form, the way we started the session. And notice this return, what is left from that transformation. Is there anything present that you can carry with you? We all have these potentialities to transform into different energies, different qualities, different ways of being on the earth with others. So noticing again how you experience now weight in your body. What is your relationship to gravity? Have you just returned to the land? Are you still floating? Returning to your breath, returning to your heart. Place one hand on top of your heart and the other one on your belly, and just feeling again your heart pumping blood everywhere in your body. Feeling maybe safe again. Enveloped by your skin, nourished by the fresh oxygen. And slowly you can move now to a writing, our last activity. Let it be a writing activity or a drawing activity. And I would go to my writing materials. And maybe you can have a big, maybe we would have said this in the beginning, but if you have a big piece of paper, or if you can get one right now, and then your writing materials, I would suggest that you write continuously for 3 to 5 minutes, more if you want, from that process, that experience of imagining the sense of rebirth, growing, regrowing, composting, transforming. And I would not take the pencil out of the paper for a set amount of minutes that you want, that you choose to write for. And if you get stuck, you can repeat what you write. You can write gibberish, but I wouldn't stop, because when stopping, we start thinking and overthinking. And when you finish, you can maybe explore what is left through drawing and mark making. You can create a body map where elements of this session from yoga, qigong, the phoenix may arrive. This opening inside spaces, and how you can then translate it into a map. Let the words become like threads or antlers, hyphae, and allow that also to reflect on your map. And yeah, this is the end of the session, so we will leave you there, and I would invite Rakhee to pause her writing. Thank you, Rakhee. And we can close the session together. If you can, yeah, okay, yeah, great.
So I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you to all of you that have been moving with us and writing with us over the past 6 weeks. And if this is your first experience of Right Moves, I hope that you had a really fruitful insight into some of the work we've been doing and the ways we've been moving. So I think from me, I just really wanted to express my gratitude. How about you, Vanio?
Yes, I think it's the right word, gratitude. I feel quite nourished by the presence of all these women who were with us and joined us. They, in between their work or with difficult childcare situations, and they made space for that to become possible. I want to thank Poplar Union as well for hosting us and supporting us throughout. And again, Culture Seeds by the Mayor of London, who funded us and made that possible financially. Yeah, that's it from me.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you again. Bye-bye, everyone.